So yeah, last year one of our guests broke down money in a way that went viral because it finally felt clear, simple, and honestly real. But here's the thing: not everyone agreed. Some people loved the advice, and others felt that the recommendations were unrealistic. Savings, check, check, etc. The comments were full of dialogue, debates, and people bringing their own experiences into the mix. And that's what I love because money conversation should spark reactions. It's not one size fits all. It's about perspective, and sometimes even just hearing a different take can shift how we see our own money situation. Which is why I'm glad we're revisiting the conversation with everyone changing, not everyone, but everything and everyone. You know what? That wasn't
No, not at all.
misword. But with everything changing so quickly, I think it's a perfect time to have some honest conversations about how we handle our money. Because money isn't just numbers, it's how we live, how we plan, and how we keep a peace of mind. So while we're thinking about how we handle our money, let's also think about how we handle our skin. Kimberly, what's happening at Black Girl Sunscreen?
Yeah, so the skin we're talking about now is on the feet because we are going to talk about our water shoes.
So the top of the...
And the bottom of your feet.
Okay.
When you're thinking about it, because even though we're moving out of the warmer weather, people are active and on the go, right, year round. So our water shoes are fantastic both in the water and outside of the water, okay? So in terms of inside the water, I love them. They're great for snorkeling. If you're in the ocean and, you've got the rocks that are in the water, the shoes protect your feet from that. If you're walking on hot sand, around the pool, slippery, that grip on the soles keeps you safe from sliding and falling potentially. So the water shoes are great for water, obviously, but outside of the water too. I mean, even if you're biking, right? They're wonderful because of the grip on the bottom. Yes, there you go. They're super, super lightweight. They dry really quickly. So yeah. Okay.
Lightweight.
Let's go.
I had to test that.
Yeah. So I love those.
Me too. Thank you for saying that you love them. This is inspired by Shontay Lundy, because I would go on these trips, my solo trips to think, and my feet would be hot. I'm always thinking about ways of how to incorporate SPF and UPF into things. And what I didn't see people doing was protecting the tops of their feet, and everyone was looking like a lobster when they left for dinner or whatever, leaving the beach. So the question I always had was like, are these shoes like not cool enough? Like, why aren't people wearing something that's protective? Like, why are we wearing slides? I know what it is to like wear a cute kind of sandal, right? It goes with the bathing suit. It goes with the sarong. But this is really practical. You're not going to slip while you're wearing it, and you can get it wet. Yes. I mean, if you get sand in it, leave it at the side of the door or whatever. But I just thought of it because it was like people are literally getting burned on their feet, and I believe that is a painful burn.
It is.
It is a very painful burn. So anyway, where can we find
exclusively at blackgirlsunscreen.com?
So Kimberly,
yes,
who do we have sitting next to us?
So today's guest is a powerhouse in finance, strategy, and entrepreneurship. As the principal of Abacus Financial Business Management, she has built an impressive career managing the wealth and business affairs of high-profile entertainers, athletes, and entrepreneurs. Known for her sharp financial acumen and passion for helping clients protect and grow their legacies, she has become a trusted advisor in industries where success moves fast and stakes are high. Beyond her professional expertise, she is dedicated to mentorship, financial literacy, and empowering others to make informed money decisions. Get ready to hear the insights, experiences, and strategies from a woman who's redefining what it means to manage wealth with purpose. Please welcome back to the show the dynamic and unstoppable Belva Anakwenze.
Well, thank you. You make me sound so amazing.
You are.
I mean, everyday life doesn't feel like that. When my hair is not combed, I haven't brushed my teeth yet, and kids are driving me crazy. It doesn't always feel like that. So thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, it is real life for you because I've seen some articles published praising you.
A little bit.
Yeah,
A couple
yeah.
of them.
So this is real life.
Yeah.
This is real life.
Yeah.
But we always have it behind the scenes. I know that.
Yeah, life is always lifing. We just go ahead and navigate it, don't we?
Yes.
Belva, welcome back to the
Thank
show.
you.
Your episode was so well received.
Oh,
we had to
good.
have you back for a second conversation, considering that people want to understand more about financial literacy. But last year, it might be a different conversation from this year. So we were just really interested on your thoughts.
I love that. And I think, financial literacy is this blanket statement that we use in the world. And it's so misleading because there are financial professionals who've been in their industry for 20 years who may not know anything about real estate, who may not know anything about tax, who may not know anything about budgeting and forecasting, but they're great at investments. They're great at alternative investments. So this idea of financial literacy is this blanket statement that it's really hard for even people in the financial services industry to really be completely, fully financially literate.
So the last time you talked about how spending should align with your value system.
Yes.
Can you please remind people what you meant by that?
Yes. So we all value something.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of somethings, actually, right? So, and it could be something that's tangible, or it can be some internal, intrinsic value, things that you value about your life. So for some people, it could be education for your children. It could be education for yourself. It could be health. It could be, I want to retire at a certain age, having not to worry about taxes or not to worry about debt. So everyone has this thing. I can tell you some of mine. I was like, I value comfort. And so my money goes to things that make me comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
My tennis shoe game is very strong.
Mm-hmm.
When I can, I'm flying business in first class. This economy's a little different now. But when I can, I do because I value comfort. So when I look at how I spend money, it aligns with that. Nike's really heavy on my list, as are sweatsuits and as are some other things. I'm kind of business today, but still very, very casual because it's comfortable.
Yep.
And then you also, for me, it's also education for my kids. My kids, I pay for private school because I value that for them. So I may not have the money to do some of the other things that I really enjoy, maybe eating out as frequently or doing some other things because I spend my money where my value system lines. The challenge for a lot of people is we think intrinsically that they value these 5 things. But when we look at their spending says something completely different. And so the important part is for people to challenge themselves to make sure that they're spending money that's aligned with their value system. And if not, something's wrong. Either you don't really know what your value system is, and you may have to reevaluate that, or you need to start spending more to align with that. So for instance, if fine dining dining out isn't your value system, then why is your Postmates bill always so high?
Yeah.
When you said retirement was very important to you, but you're not contributing enough to your retirement account, right? So that's what I mean by that. We have to really internalize what our value system is and then lean into that and make sure our spending is in those arenas.
There's multiple layers to it though, right? Because what if someone can't define what they value?
That's the hard part. It takes some soul searching. I mean, money is very emotional. And we don't talk about that. We always think that it's a spreadsheet and it's, I look at my bank account, I look at how I'm spending, but we all have financial trauma. I don't care if you grew up very wealthy and everything was handed to you. Maybe there's an ignorance around budgeting and forecasting, right? Or if you grew up in scarcity. We all have these blind spots. So it takes some very important work because money is emotional and we're triggered by things.
Yeah. Let's talk about the emotional piece about it. Let's talk about relationships. What is your take on, if husband and wife should have joint accounts, separate accounts, kind of like what's yours is mine. If your partner says, hey, how much money is in your bank account? Do you think like a definitive number should be given? What are your thoughts around that?
That is tricky. It's very, very tricky. And part of it is because every relationship is so unique and everyone's financial dynamics are very unique. And oftentimes you marry people or you're in relationships with people where your financial value system doesn't align. There are people who are very entrepreneurial minded. And this analogy is going to be very taboo maybe. I have clients who kind of think like drug dealers. I'll just flip this and make some money and then I'll be good. Then they could be married to a partner, and the partner is like, no, we are living frugal. We're going to pay ourselves first. We're going to put money in retirement. We're going to do taxes. We're going to do all these different things, right? So the
Taxes.
reason
They thinking about taxes for 27.
Yeah.
Bro, we're in 25.
Yeah, so it's very different. And so a lot of times you have to kind of meet the client or the couple where they are to understand you need to be seen, heard, and valued in your system, aka drug dealer mentality. And so does the other partner, because there's no right or wrong way. There are preferred methods that financial advisors will tell you. But what has to work for you, because you also have to make sure that people feel fulfilled. That's the emotional piece we were just talking about. And so once you figure out what people's value system is as it relates to how money should be used, then you figure out what makes sense. If it makes sense for you guys to have a joint checking account, then we'll do that. I have clients that have joint checking accounts where most of the money kind of goes in there, and then they have their individual spending accounts. Okay. Whatever you do in that account is on you, baby. You live your best life and have whatever you want. But once that money is gone for the month, then we don't touch it. So it just kind of depends. And then we're also in a very unique dynamic where in today's, well, not with the recent news with a lot of Black women being laid off, but now in current days, women are earning way more than men are in a lot of scenarios. And so there's a dynamic shift that is also coming, and it's happening. And so there's also just a more emotional piece with a lot of times women are becoming the financial providers, and that has a lot to do with managing ego and expectations, and the roles within the households are changing. And so you just have to kind of figure out, where does everyone need to be felt, seen, heard, valued, and appreciated, and make sure you're speaking to that first, and then develop a plan.
I mean, it sounds kind of easy.
In theory.
In theory. I just don't know if that's how it goes.
I've been doing this 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not always that easy. And I have clients that just have their head in the sand and they're like, it is what it is. And I'm like, no, it can't be. It is what it is. We have to navigate and plan for certain things. And so it's a constant conversation. I think the other piece a lot of people don't understand is that money conversations and money dynamics, it's not a one and done. It's not once a year. It's not once a quarter. Money conversations need to happen constantly and continuously, but they have to happen in safe spaces where everyone feels seen, heard, valued, and appreciated, so that everyone can be vulnerable and truly be honest. It all starts with being vulnerable and being honest, which is hard to talk about money with a lot of people.
It is. So you just mentioned like, hey, in theory, it's easy, right? One of the comments that you made last year, in theory, it's easy, but it was challenged. And the comment was having 6 to 12 months of savings. Mm-hmm. That was probably one of the most, I would say, prominent kind of segments for you. Let's revisit that. And is your stance still the same? And if it is, what tips do you have for folks to get to that 6 to 12 months, savings, considering all the layoffs and everything that is happening?
I love that question.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of push it back on you. Do you think I was right now that we're in this climate?
6 to 12 months. Listen, I'm happy with
not you.
Yes.
Understanding the climate that we are currently in.
I don't think it's realistic.
But if people had done that 6 to 12 months when we talked a year ago, right? Mm-hmm. Would people who are now being laid off be in a better position?
They would. Okay, so when you said it then, I still didn't think it was realistic.
Okay. So realistic, and my advice is you should have 6 to 12 months.
Yes.
I still stand by that.
Yep.
I think it's realistic. I think people choose to spend their money. It doesn't align with their value system, right? Okay. So it has to be part of your value system that says, I know I need an emergency fund. I'm not going to cuss, but I called it something else that has some bad language in it. I need a fund in case the sky starts falling. And I think it should be 6 to 12 months. And if people say, oh, that's not important to me, then that's not realistic. If it's important to you, then you will prioritize that over Uber Eats. You'll prioritize that over in-video game buys. Yeah. You'll prioritize it over riding an Uber and Waymo. And you'll prioritize it over that vacation. You'll prioritize it over getting the new car versus just keeping the car you have.
So you want people just to be still in their house?
That's not what I'm saying.
I'm asking.
Because if you take somebody, I can go through anybody's spending in this room right now. Mm-hmm. And I am not of the mindset that you should not enjoy life. Mm-hmm. And I'm not of the mindset of scarcity. I believe that money is a plentiful. I believe the universe is made to give me things, whether it is love, money, happiness, joy, access, whatever it is. I believe that if I want it and manifest it, it will come to me. And by God, it has always happened. Not always in my time, but it has happened. I can go through anybody's spending right now and say, oh, you told me your value system was this. You said you didn't value eating out, but you went to Uber Eats 3 times this week. Could you do it one time? Mm-hmm. Oh, you told me you didn't, not having to drive was something that you didn't. It doesn't matter to you. I don't mind if I have to drive. It's fine. Well, you were in Uber 3 times. Could we have done it once? Could you have driven? Could you have walked a little bit further and not paid for parking? Could you have there's things that you can do, right?
Yeah,
and I don't care if you're making $40,000 a year, if you're making $1 million a year. There's still things that you can do. And so I think it's a cop-out to say it's not realistic. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. And I'm not going to say that it can happen in a year. But that should be the goal. And if that is part of your value system, then hopefully your spending aligns with your value system.
So do value systems maybe need to be reevaluated and changed
Absolutely.
at times? Because if you look at today's climate, economic climate, and you mentioned, people being laid off. I mean, since the current administration took office, over 300,000 Black women alone have been laid off.
Yeah.
So value systems maybe have to shift and change a little bit. So how do people reevaluate their spending and maybe change their financial priorities?
Yeah, I think to your point, it's the current climate, but also as we grow and evolve as human beings, our values change. When you become a mother or a father, your value system change. When you land that job, your value systems change. When you get a partner in life, your value system changes because their values become part of your values. They might not always be 100% aligned. So yes, your value systems need to change, but part of it is being aware that you have a value system. A lot of times we don't know that we have them. People I'm just navigating life. And so you do have to reevaluate and you have to figure out what's important to you. So yes, the climate right now is that women, in particular women of color, are being laid off. That is the climate we're in, right? So if you know that and you know that you are a woman of color, what do you think your value system should include?
Saving,
right? And so that's what I see. That doesn't mean that you're going to hear that and receive that. Mm-hmm. You may be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm secured. It's not going to impact me. That's your prerogative. And perhaps you will be fine and secure. It won't impact you. Kudos and amazing for you. However, I am like, I see the writing on the wall. So let me readjust my thinking. So yeah, I didn't go on as many trips as I wanted to go on. I adjusted. I flew economy. I adjusted. Yes.
I did something this year. Since December, I didn't buy myself not one personal thing.
What do you, like a purse or earrings or like no jewelry?
Nothing.
I love that.
Nothing. No clothing. No
really?
Nothing. No. If it wasn't for business, right? Like for an event. Nothing personal, nothing to walk around in the house in, nothing to go to dinner in, not one thing.
What made you do that?
I have an event coming up. So I wanted to make sure that everything I wanted for that event, I had.
So you prioritize that event. So your value system in this time was that.
But there was also some things that happened too. We had the boycotting, right? So for me, it's like, okay, I don't need to spend hundreds of dollars in these stores. Let me get only what I need because I actually like to see the zeros in the bank account. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So my thought process has shifted over the last, 8 months, 9 months.
So your value system. So what specifically in your value system do you think changed? Do you value the dollar differently? Do you value?
So how I'm perceiving it and what I want to feel comfortable. So if something does happen, I'm okay.
Yeah. And so I think it's about just taking the time to really understand where are you in life? What is the climate? And also where are you going in the next 2 years, 5 years?
I also think about what's a need versus a want.
The needs, wants, and then desires are like, oh, I would love a new purse. Oh, I would love. And there's wants that are like, oh, I want a new pair of shoes because these are kind of like, or whatever. And then there's definitely needs. Like I need to make sure that my mortgage gets paid and my car note gets paid and all those things. So that's why I prioritize. And that's why I'm not traveling like I used to. We all have to adjust given what's happening. Also, I also just don't want to travel as much as I used to, right? So it's not just the economy, but personally, as I'm getting a little bit older, just a little bit older, I just don't want the same thing. So then you have to shift and pivot. And now, okay, well, I don't need that, so my money should be going somewhere else. Every dollar needs to have a purpose. So let's figure out what that is.
So what if they didn't put away 6 to 12 months and they had that major life change right now?
Yeah.
Lost their job or maybe had a major health crisis. What can they do to try to have some financial stability? Are there steps or resources that people should look to help that next step?
It's very, very tricky, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's situation is different. There are a lot of credit card companies allow you to call and say, hey, I'm in a financial bind. Can you please look at adjusting my interest rate? If you have a mortgage, you possibly can call your mortgage company and say, hey, I just was laid off. Can we, maybe skip a month and do a repayment plan? So there are things you can do 100%, but it's about knowing what you owe, what your responsibilities are, and not being scared to call the people and who you owe money to and see what to do. I think that's one thing. Obviously, if you get laid off, file for unemployment immediately so that...
Some people do wait.
Yeah, file immediately. Like the day you get the notice, you should go file for unemployment because the clock starts. And that will help soften the blow. Not a ton, but a little bit. You'll have some food money. I think that's very important. And then also, if you do have cash reserves, trying to maintain that as much as possible by limiting spending. And if you have, low balance credit cards, pay those off so you're not paying interest on it. And then also I think those are the big things that you can do. Find a hustle also. I think we've talked about that.
Yeah.
We've talked
side hustle.
Find a hustle. I think people who the economy is a little bit different than it was a year ago, but there's still ways to make money and you can be creative, but you have to be creative and think outside the box. But you have to find a hustle.
What are your thoughts on consolidating student loans?
I'm a fan of it. Like if it works for you, if it makes sense, if it helps, your cash flow, if it doesn't change your interest rate to some crazy thing, then do it. Consolidation works as long as you can do that with credit cards, you can do it with student loans, you can do it with other debt. Just make sure it makes sense for you and you're not putting bad money. You're not getting a bad loan to cover a good loan. Okay.
Do you have a hustle?
I do not.
You don't? Okay.
I stopped doing hustles because I had to focus on the main thing.
I'm kind of curious. Are you able to share any of the hustles what was the hustle that made you the most money?
I mean, hustle that made me I've owned franchises, multiple franchises. I have, I did a tax franchise. I owned a transportation company. I did, what else did I do? I'm helping my kids now do a vending machine thing that they want to do. I think those are the big ones.
You guys got some good locations?
That's the problem. I'm like, y'all need to find the locations. Like, you want me to buy this machine, you need to figure some other stuff out, children.
Machine, like $500?
No, it depends. Like, there's some that are several, like tens of thousands of dollars, depending on if it has to cool the items or whatever. But what I found for me personally is that when I chase money for the sake of chasing money, it becomes more of a job for me. And then I don't like it. And because I don't like it, I don't really give it enough energy for it to flourish. I stopped doing hustles because I was like, I am spinning my wheels trying to build something that I have no passion for. So I keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is helping people with financial decisions and financial lives and educating people. So when I leaned into that business took off, and then I'm good now. So I no longer do side hustles because for me, it's about passion. And I think if I do what I love, the money will follow.
I love the advice of being kind of like laser focused and locked in on something, because I'm seeing a lot of people do a lot of things not very well.
Yeah. But it's, again, I know me, part of it is being self-aware and understanding. Some people really can do 7 hustles. They could be a photographer. They could do this. Okay, great. If that's what you can do. For me, I just found I was taking so much time out of a business that was already successful. Mm-hmm. And if I just put that same energy into the business and I could make it really successful, go figure.
But do you think it's kind of like, oh, okay, so that's not going to take too much time, so let me just go ahead and do it, even though you have your main business? Does that like thought just kind of creep into your mind?
Not for me.
Okay.
Not for me, because I understand. I teach, part of it's because of what I do. I teach financial literacy. And as I've told you, financial literacy is not just about the calculator and about the spreadsheet. It's about understanding your value system. I value my time. I value my energy. I value sleep. I just told you I value comfort, right? My bed, nice sheets. I value all that, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is I understand my capacity. And I think a lot of people don't understand their capacity. I am a single mom. I have kids in private school. I'm driving 30 minutes to get one kid to one school, 15 minutes, and then I got to get them back home. It's too much for me. And so for me, I understand my capacity. And I think you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to be pretty self-aware. To be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be pretty self-aware. And a lot of people just navigate life and aren't very self-aware.
Okay. We can roll into nah.
Yeah.
That was fast.
I know.
Yeah,
That was
because
really fast.
so you want to tee it up? Or you wanna
Yes.
tee it up?
Okay. So Belva,
Yes.
this year we're doing it a little different. So this game, yeah or nah, I'm basically going to say a phrase and you're going to say yeah or nah, whether or not you agree with it. And you can give
Seems
us a
simple
little-
enough
It is. It's pretty simple.
in theory.
In theory. Yes. Okay. Increase investing even with talk of inflation.
Yeah. You need color on that?
You can.
I think, Earn Your Leisure the other day, they said something like people are often confusing the stock market with how the economy is doing. And they're two different things.
Yes.
And I assure you, under this current presidency, the stock market is going to do I can't assure you. Let me take that back because I don't want anyone calling me or calling you and be like, okay. I believe that in this current presidency, it is rigged for the stock market to do well. I believe that. That may not be the fact, but I believe that.
Hot take.
Yeah.
So for me, I would still invest. I am still investing. That is not, but I think you should make sure you're servicing your debt and some other things, but yes.
Increase investing even with talk of inflation. Yeah.
Yeah. For me too. Okay. Prioritize paying off debt over building savings.
It's half dozen. What's I don't know the saying. So it's a maybe.
Yeah.
It's a maybe. I think the answer is yes, but within parameters. I think they both need to be a priority. So maybe you're paying off one credit card at a time, slowly chipping that away while you're also investing. But you have to look at the average return on investment, and an investment is about 7 to 9% annually, usually on this lower end. If you're paying credit card debt at 29%, I mean, just do the math, right? Do the math.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
if you got something low interest, then just kind of let that ride and then go ahead and save your money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But most people are paying 29% in interest.
Yeah.
So, if it's a car note, if you have a car note at 4%, who cares? Right. If you have a mortgage, don't 3% because you locked it in during COVID. Do not accelerate.
I'm like 3% where?
Do not accelerate that payment, right? Then you should be investing because the return on investment of 7% is higher than the 3% you're paying.
Right. Okay. All right. Cutting out daily luxuries like DoorDash to save.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We knew that was.
Yeah, I know. Right.
We knew that one.
You may not like it.
Mm-hmm.
But the worst part is when your DoorDash comes wrong.
And it's cold.
Right? And it's cold. So DoorDash, but not even just DoorDash. You got Postmates, you got Uber Eats.
All of them.
All. So, yes, that's something that I've tried to scale back on because I'm a non-cooker. So when we talk about values, I got to eat, Belva.
But you don't want to cook for it. And if that's your value system, I respect it.
I try to cut down as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a line item of food,
Mm-hmm.
right, for me. So it's not like a splurge. That's what it is for the month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you can also go to Whole Foods. They have pre-made meals and you can do some other things.
I sure can.
Yeah.
I choose not to.
And that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
Keeping extra money in a savings account instead of the stock market
Absolutely.
during uncertain times.
Yeah. Your emergency fund should not be in the stock market. That's very, very important.
Yeah, I think that's important for people.
So
to know.
your emergency fund should be in cash
Tell us why.
savings. Because if let's say I put $10,000 into my emergency account, right? Let's just say that I have it now invested in the stock market. Stock market made a turn. I had a moment where I need to pull cash out. It's now worth $8,000. That's awful. If I put $10,000 into a high yield savings account or a money market account that's guaranteed, then I may have put $10,000 in, but now it might be worth $10,500. I'm winning, and now when the thing that happens, I'm allowed to pull that money out and not have a loss.
Yeah. Okay. using credit cards for daily necessities if you can pay off the full balance at the end of the month.
Absolutely. I am a points whore. Am I allowed to say whore on the radio?
Yes, I am too.
I'm a points whore. So absolutely. So if you can do that and you are responsible enough to pay your stuff off, absolutely. I've had so many free trips and free hotels and free everything.
Upgrades,
Yep.
all of it.
All day.
I'm your younger sister because I don't move with nothing else other than the credit card.
Yeah.
Paid off in full every month.
That's right.
The other thing is, if you need to dispute it, it's so much easier to dispute with a credit card than it is a debit card. I've canceled payments on contractors. Oh, you're not going to show up? Cool. Don't worry about it. So I tend to use credit cards for everything I can because it usually has recourse.
Control.
You have recourse. Yeah.
Okay. Establishing residency in a cheaper state to save money.
Legitimately, yeah. If people are doing it for the tax savings and they're not really relocating, nah. Period.
I'm just answering the question as a yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last one. People choosing to sell designer items like on consignment and in order
Absolutely.
to get.
Yeah. The other thing is, like I said, our value system changed. I have so many name brand luxury purses. I wear the same purse all day, every day, unless I'm going to an event. And I have all these bags that have never seen the light of day. My kids call it a museum of bags. So sell them.
Yeah, that's how I started Black Girl Sunscreen.
Selling bags, reselling your stuff. I love that. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on trust in estates?
Mandatory.
Okay, can you talk to us about how somebody can set that up?
Yeah. So there are tons of websites that will help you do it, and they probably will help you do it very inexpensively. If you have the resources to pay for an attorney, I want you to pay for an attorney.
Okay.
Because the attorney will help you think about things that an online website will not. So in my personal trust, for instance, my kids have to have a certain level of education before assets are transferred over. The assets are transferred over in milestones, if you will. So they don't get all the money at one time. They don't get all the assets at one time. And so attorneys are great at helping you think about those things because the idea behind the trust is to protect your assets and make sure your kids get, or your whoever you want to get your stuff gets it. It also helps you avoid probate. And so most important thing is avoiding probate. If you have in California, I think if your net worth is over or your assets are over like $60,000, it goes to probate. So anyway, if you owe land, typically in California, you could go to probate if you don't have it in a trust. So absolutely.
So follow-up question. I think some people think that trust and estate planning is for the rich.
Absolutely. I just said if your estate is $60,000, it could go to probate. So I think everyone should have an estate or trust. Estate planning includes a trust. And especially if you have children and if you don't have any assets, that's very important because it tells the state who you want to care for your children. And if you do have means, if you have certain requirements, I want my kids to remain in my house. I want my kids to continue a private education. I want my kids to have all these different things. The trust and estate planning sets those guidelines for those people. That's very, very important.
When a couple gets together, do you think they get a joint estate or trust, or is it individual?
If in California, you're going to get a joint. But typically when people have an estate plan, they're going to, so if I was to get married, not on my bucket list, by the way, but if I was to get married, I already have an estate plan. If I was to get married, my partner and I would create a new estate plan. And so I would have an estate plan for everything that I owned prior to marriage. And then we would have a joint estate plan, joint trust for everything that happened after we got married. So you would have
communal.
Both.
Yeah, communal. Okay. Listen, I think all the things have been talked about. All the topics have been covered. Belva, what's next for you?
I'm trying to figure out what's happening in the entertainment industry because it is a hot mess. So we are evaluating.
You see that merger?
There's a merger every week. There's something
Paramount.
new. Yep. I have several clients that are under that umbrella, so we're navigating that. So I'm trying to understand what this looks like for my business as a whole. Like, what do we do? We're fine, but just trying to figure out how do we navigate the world we're in. I don't see it getting any better. I have a son who just started high school, so I'm an emotional wreck, and I'm crying every day when I drop him off.
Why?
So that's part because I'm like, oh my God, you're my baby. No, you're 6'2" and not a baby. Lord have mercy.
Oh,
So that's fun,
yeah.
and we'll see.
Okay.
Keep teaching financial literacy. I have a couple things in the works on some really exciting projects about financial literacy and providing it to creatives and the masses.
Congratulations on that piece.
Thank you.
And I think that your experience and knowledge it doesn't get stale.
Oh, thank you.
Yes,
Thank
you're
you.
very welcome. And you're listening to Shamelessly Shontay. Bye.